Are you aware that the story of werewolves goes back thousands of years and is found in many different cultures? People all over the world have been both fascinated and scared by the idea of humans turning into wolves or beings that look like wolves for hundreds of years. These myths and legends are more than just stories. They show our deepest fears and secrets. Hi there to all of you. Here at Myth Explorer, we're going to explore the amazing realm of mythology. Enjoy your visit. We'll be focusing on the legend of the werewolf. We'll explore the origins, myths, and cultural significance of werewolves. From ancient mythology to medieval witch hunts, and from folklore to modern pop culture, we'll uncover the fascinating history of these legendary creatures. We'll delve into the earliest references in Greek and Roman mythology, examine the chilling tales of werewolf trials in medieval Europe, and see how werewolves have been depicted in literature and popular media. In today's video, you'll have a comprehensive understanding of how the werewolf legend has evolved and endured through the ages. Let's go. Origins in the past. One of the earliest stories about werewolves is from Greek mythology. Lycaon was the king of Arcadia, and he was so proud that he decided to test Zeus's knowledge by serving him a meal made from the flesh of a child. This was an act of sacrilege, and Zeus was angry, so he turned Lycaon into a wolf as a punishment. This story is important because it shows how transformation can be a form of divine vengeance, how human and animal nature can become blurred, and what happens when you don't follow the gods. Hercules, the hero of another Greek myth, is said to have met and fought wolf-like creatures during his many adventures. These creatures were not werewolves, but they had a lot in common with later werewolf stories. This shows how interested the ancient Greeks were in people who were half human and half animal. Ancient Roman myths. Roman mythology includes a werewolf element in the story of Romulus and Remus, the legendary founders of Rome. The myth says that the twin brothers were abandoned and left to die, but a she-wolf came along and saved them and fed them. This connection to wolves is less about transformation and more about the caring and protective nature of wolves, showing the dual nature of these creatures in ancient stories. The she-wolf, known as Lupa, became a symbol of Rome, showing both its fierce independence and its willingness to care for the weak and abandoned. Roman mythology also includes stories of individuals cursed to become wolves. The Roman poet Ovid, in his work Metamorphoses, tells the story of Lycaon, borrowing from Greek mythology but adding his embellishments. In Ovid's version, Lycaon is transformed into a wolf, not just as punishment, but as a reflection of his savage nature, emphasizing the moralistic aspect of these transformations. Other ancient cultures' werewolf-like creatures also appear in other ancient cultures. In Norse mythology, there are tales of warriors known as Ulfhednar, who could transform into wolves. These warriors wore wolf skins and were believed to channel the strength and ferocity of wolves in battle. The Ulfhednar were considered elite fighters, similar to the berserkers, and their ability to transform into wolves was seen as both a blessing and a curse, granting them immense power but also a loss of humanity. In Mesopotamian myths, there are references to individuals cursed to become wolves as punishment for various transgressions. One such story involves the goddess Ishtar, who transformed her former lover into a wolf as a form of divine retribution. These stories show that the concept of werewolves, or human-wolf hybrids, is a widespread and ancient phenomenon, reflecting the universal human fascination with transformation and the animalistic aspects of human nature. Medieval Europe. The medieval period saw a significant rise in werewolf legends, particularly in Europe. During the witch hunts of the Middle Ages, many people were accused of being werewolves and were subjected to brutal trials. These accusations were often based on superstition and fear, and many of those accused were simply unfortunate individuals who were in the wrong place at the wrong time. The connection between werewolves and witchcraft was strong, as both were seen as manifestations of evil and demonic influence. The fear of werewolves was particularly prevalent in regions like France and Germany. In France, the term loup-garou became synonymous with werewolf, and many people believed that these creatures were real and posed a genuine threat to their communities. Similarly, in Germany, the term werewolf was used to describe individuals believed to have the ability to transform into wolves. During the witch hunts, suspected werewolves were often subjected to the same brutal treatment as suspected witches. They were accused of making pacts with the devil, transforming into wolves to carry out heinous crimes, and spreading terror among the populace. These trials were often based on dubious evidence, including eyewitness testimonies, confessions obtained under torture, and the presence of wolf marks on the accused. Famous cases. One of the most famous cases from this era is that of Peter Stump, a German farmer accused of being a werewolf in the late 16th century. Stump, also known as the Werewolf of Bedburg, was subjected to horrific torture and eventually confessed to a series of gruesome murders, claiming he had made a pact with the devil and possessed a magical belt that allowed him to transform into a wolf. His case became one of the most well-documented and sensationalized werewolf trials of the period, illustrating the intense fear and superstition surrounding werewolves at the time. Stump's trial included detailed descriptions of his alleged crimes, including attacks on livestock and the murder of several villagers. His confession, obtained under extreme duress, included lurid details about his supposed transformations and the diabolical powers granted to him by the devil. The trial culminated in Stump's execution, which was carried out in a particularly brutal manner designed to serve as a warning to others. Another notable case is that of Jacques Roulet, a Frenchman accused of being a werewolf in the early 17th century. Roulet was found in a state of delirium, covered in blood, and claimed to have transformed into a wolf and killed several people. Despite his apparent insanity, he was tried and sentenced to death. However, his sentence was later commuted, and he was sent to an insane asylum instead. Roulet's case highlights the often tenuous link between mental illness and werewolf accusations, as well as the harsh treatment of those deemed to be possessed by supernatural forces. European folklore. In various European countries, werewolves were common figures in folklore. In French folklore, for instance, the loup-garou was a widely feared creature. These stories were often used to warn children about the dangers of the night and to instill moral lessons. The loup-garou was believed to be someone who had been cursed or who had voluntarily turned into a wolf to carry out evil deeds. Similar tales can be found in other cultures, each with its unique twist on the werewolf legend. In Slavic folklore, the werewolf, or vukodlak, was often associated with evil sorcerers and witches. These creatures were believed to transform into wolves through the use of magic and could be defeated only by specific rituals or the intervention of holy men. The vukodlak was seen as a malevolent being that preyed on livestock and humans alike, embodying the fears and superstitions of rural communities. In Scandinavian folklore, the varulv, or werewolf, was sometimes depicted as a tragic figure, cursed by fate or by the gods. These stories often emphasized the dual nature of the werewolf, torn between its human and animal forms. The varulv could be redeemed through acts of bravery or by breaking the curse that bound it, reflecting themes of redemption and transformation. Literature influence. The 19th century saw a surge in the popularity of werewolf stories in literature. One significant work is The Werewolf of Paris by Guy Endore, often credited with popularizing the werewolf in modern fiction. This novel, set against the backdrop of the Franco-Prussian War, combines historical events with supernatural elements, portraying the werewolf as both a victim and a monster. The book's complex characters and moral ambiguity helped to shape the modern interpretation of werewolves. Endore's novel explores the psychological aspects of the werewolf legend, delving into the mind of its protagonist. Another influential literary work is Dracula's Guest by Bram Stoker. Modern interpretations. Modern interpretations of werewolves vary widely, from terrifying monsters to heroic figures. In series like Teen Wolf and The Vampire Diaries, werewolves are often depicted as complex characters with their communities, rules, and struggles. These portrayals reflect contemporary themes such as identity, belonging, and the struggle between one's human side and animalistic instinct. Psychological theories. Some psychologists believe that the werewolf myth may stem from a rare condition known as clinical lycanthropy, where individuals believe they can transform into wolves or other animals. This condition is often associated with severe mental illness and can include symptoms such as delusions and hallucinations. Understanding this psychological aspect helps to explain why the werewolf legend has persisted for so long and why it continues to captivate our imaginations. Clinical lycanthropy is a rare but fascinating phenomenon that has been documented in various cultures throughout history. Individuals with this condition often exhibit behaviors associated with wolves, such as howling, growling, and moving on all fours. These behaviors, combined with the individual's belief in their transformation, create a compelling parallel to the werewolf legends. Psychologists and psychiatrists studying clinical lycanthropy have explored various explanations for the condition, including the influence of cultural beliefs, traumatic experiences, and underlying mental health disorders. The condition's rarity and the dramatic nature of its symptoms have made it a subject of interest for both medical professionals and folklorists. Symbolism. Werewolves often symbolize the duality of human nature, representing the struggle between our civilized selves and our primal instincts. This duality is a common theme in literature and psychology, reflecting the idea that everyone has a dark side that can emerge under certain circumstances. Werewolves also symbolize transformation and change, both physical and metaphorical, making them powerful symbols in stories about growth, identity, and self-discovery. In many werewolf stories, the transformation from human to wolf serves as a metaphor for the unleashing of repressed desires and emotions. This transformation often occurs under the influence of the full moon, symbolizing the cyclical nature of human behavior and the impact of external forces on our actions. The werewolf's struggle to control its animalistic urges reflects broader themes of self-control, morality, and the conflict between societal expectations and personal desires. Discover the rich tapestry of tales that continue to charm and motivate people all around the world by learning more about mythologies. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to our channel for more fascinating stories, and share your favorite werewolf tale in the comments below. We love hearing your thoughts and experiences, and your engagement helps us create more content that you enjoy. View a few of our other videos on related subjects as well. I appreciate your viewing very much. Please feel free to post any comments below with any questions or ideas you may have for the next videos. Check out my YouTube channel for updates. Have a curious mind and continue diving into the amazing realm of mythology until the next time.